This is Lay the Points, episode number 33. Yesterday, Otani and Trout both had an RBI for us. In the 25 run Angels demolishing of the Rockies, that is just insane. Stuff like that, when it happens, is insane. Partly it's Coors Field, partly it's Colorado's miserable pitching. At one point, every starter every starter on the Angels had an RBI, and they started like subbing in players. And I don't know if they got RBIs too, but every starter on the Angels, at the original starters of that game, had an RBI. That's really, really hard to do. And then some of them had like five, so crazy outcome in that one. Both guys got Trout homered, but Otani didn't. Actually, Otani didn't have a good day. The one hit I believe he got the RBI on. So, but then we're both wins, which was good because that was basically the only wins I had yesterday. Yesterday was not my best day. We had some kind of we had some weird upsets yesterday. The Royals kind of smacked Tampa Bay around, and then Texas didn't score on the Yankees at all. It was a 1-0 game. Odd game, really odd game there. Um, but today, we are going to that same Texas and Yankees game. All right, it's Garrett Cole versus Eovaldi. The Yankees actually seen Eovaldi a lot when he was in the Red Sox, so it's not unusual for them to see him, but maybe not the guys that are hitting for the Yankees right now. They haven't seen him very much because who knows who it is. It's probably some of you guys out there watching my show that hit for the Yankees. So, but anyways, I think this stays under for the first five. That's what I'm looking at here. It's under four for the first five innings here. I think both these pitchers dominate early. There may be a solo shot or something in there, but Garrett Cole has been masterful this season. He's been really good. And then Eovaldi's actually been excellent as well for Texas. So I think against that the weaker Yankee lineup, I think Eovaldi dominates. He only has to kind of navigate two guys. Other than that, he can just kind of blow everyone else away. And then Garrett Cole's just Garrett Cole, so I think he does a pretty good job against Texas. So I like them in the first five. I like them to go under the 4 runs in the first 5 innings. I think it's going to be a pretty solid play. I mean, that's a little less than a run per inning, which isn't all that unusual, guys. It's not unusual to have less than a run per inning. That's why most of your totals are like 8.5. That's less than a run per inning if you think about it. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that this is 0-0 in the 5th inning. It's kind of likely actually. So that's what we're looking at here. I like the Yankees and Texas under 4 runs for the first 5 innings. That's what I like today. It's at minus 120. It's even juiced up. But I think it's a really good play. I also like the no runs in the first inning for that game. It's at minus 130. But I'll have some money on it too because the way I'll look at this game is I'll play the first inning, I'll play it the 5 innings, and then I'll play the whole game under 7.5, with the idea that if it does what it's projected to do, it should be like a 2-3 game or a 3-1 game or something like that. And I would like to catch money as I go. So there's 3 picks for y'all today that I'm going to have. That's what I get for just rambling on, right? But that I'm going to have that bet in that style. So I'm going to have the no runs in the first inning or the Nerfy. I'm going to have the under 4 for the first 5, and then I'm going to have the under 7.5 for the game. Just because the 2 pitchers, I trust them to get through the first 5 innings, and then after that, I don't know. One of them will probably go 7. Maybe both of them do. I don't know. This could easily be a really, really dominant pitchers duel. And it's not even really wouldn't be all that surprising at all. They played a 1-0 game with mediocre pitching yesterday. So, with good pitching, it could easily go longer than that. So, and again, it's really weird to do that in Yankee Stadium. You kind of think of Yankee Stadium and the Yankees as high scoring, and when all their pieces there, they really are. But all their pieces are not there. And these guys, a lot of them are guys that are prospects that probably weren't even going to play this year, but they're up there having to play because of all their injuries. So, um, I like that under. So just put all three of them in. We'll go for that. Hey, I like that. I'm going to have all three bets. So, I actually think Texas will come out ahead because actually, I don't know about that. The Texas Rangers bullpen is terrible. I'm just kind of a Texas fan this year. I was on them from before preseason when I knew they got Boost Bochy. I was happy about them getting DeGrom, but obviously he's not playing. But I just really thought that they would do really well, and their win total was low. I actually told everyone to bet over the win total. They're obviously going to beat that win total, so that was a pretty good. That was a pretty good pick for me as far as premonition, kind of seeing what was going to happen in the future. And that's a lot of handicapping, guys. If it's easy to talk about things after they happen, but if you can talk about things before they happen and then they come true, that's what handicapping is all about, right? You're trying to predict what these players, what these teams, what stuff will happen on the field, the court, whatever you're playing on. So it's actually it's actually far more impressive when you predict something over the course of a season or something unusual and you can predict it. It's actually top tier handicapping when you do that. I'm pretty good at stuff like that. Obviously I miss too, like everyone else, but I'm pretty good at picking out like oddities that I see, and I'm like, oh, we can bet on this because this is going to happen this way, and the line says it's going to happen this way. So, and let's talk about the London game. Okay, the first London game, the Cardinals didn't show up for, and Wainwright just got blasted. The Cubs showed up. They hit the ball all over the field. This is game 2, and it's Stroman playing versus Liberatore, or however you say his name. Guys, the Cubs are probably going to dominate this one too. They're just better than the Cardinals. They're just better. So, um, however they go about it, if Stroman pitches like he's been pitching, it's not going to be good. It's going to be another 7-1 or 9-1 game, something like that, because the Cubs are going to hit. I would be highly surprised if the Cubs don't hit. So I know that game's coming up. It's coming up in just like an hour and a half or something like that. It's really, really early in the United States because it's a afternoon game there or noon game there in London, which is whatever 16 hours ahead of us or whatever the heck it is, 8 hours ahead of us or something. But anyway, that's what we're looking at there. And I'm not predicting anything in that game. I'm just saying that the likelihood with Stroman on the mound is that the Cubs will win that game. So don't be surprised if it's a 2-game sweep over there and they're actually not all that competitive. Like, I think that the fans over there liked it because they got to see a couple home runs and there was some action as far as base runners and stuff. But the overall sentiment of that game, it was never close. I mean, they had a 0-0 first inning, but other than that, it was never close. Just like in the Rockies game last night, the Angels and Rockies, it was 0-0 in the first inning. And then they scored like 13 runs or something in another inning. Yeah, that game was absolutely insane. If you would have bet every starter on the Angels to have an RBI, they all had an RBI. That some of those starters, it's like plus 300. Obviously you can't predict a 25-1 game. That's not a realistic prediction. But it was a crazy game. And it looks like Mike Trout has found his swing again. Now, I get it, it's in Colorado, but he was doing it in the series before. He started coming around in the series before as well. Mike Trout being good is really good for baseball because he's kind of been their darling over the last 10 years. But he really hasn't lived up to it. So, he doesn't have any titles. He doesn't have any deep playoff runs. So he really needs this. He needs Shohei. He needs this boost. And the Angels are good, guys. At the trade deadline here, if the Angels load up on some pitching, which is a very real possibility that they could go out and get some pitching, if they're able to do that, then the Angels have a real shot at doing something, getting in the playoffs, and actually being competitive because obviously Shohei and obviously Trout, but the rest of their batting lineup's pretty good. Like the rest of the Angels batting lineup is solid. It's a really solid batting lineup. And if they could get one more, like for sure, legitimate starter that is going to give you 6+ innings and can win a few games. So guys that come to mind for me are like, players that you might be able to get from, I don't know, let's say a team like Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh has had an up and down season, but they have a starter or two there that's worth your time. They they have a couple spots around the league where they may be able to pluck one of these starters away, and then they have a solid team, right? Then it's solid. The problem is are they going to be able to afford one of these guys? And that's going to be an issue. But I like the Angels. I like the Angels moving forward. It seems like Trout being healthy, Ohtani being healthy, everyone being healthy has helped them. And obviously, Ohtani's a monster on the mound, but that's only once every 5 games, or sometimes in his case, it's even 6 games. So I would like to see them have one more really legitimate starter. If they had one more guy that really could just flat get it done day in every time he started, at least give you 6 good innings, I really think that they could make a move. Are they better than Houston, Seattle? That division's so tough. I know everyone talks about the East, but that division's tough. That division is Houston, Seattle, uh, Angels, and the Rangers. That's a really, really tough division. And that one's probably going to come down to the wire. Texas will probably finish it on top, I would say. But man, the Angels are a fun pick in that one because of the players, right? The players are so more visible there. Now I know the Astros players are well known. The Astros players aren't shiny, outside of Jordan, they're not big shiny pennies, and the Texas, they don't really have the shiny pennies either. Seattle has a shiny penny, in Rodriguez, but the Angels have two, and it's really fun to watch them. So, as far as baseball goes, I like watching Ohtani pitch and then turn around and hit. It's exciting. Mike Trout gets up to the plate. It's exciting. You don't really get that a lot from every team. There's not a lot of excitement each time. So that's one of the things I like about the Angels a lot. Also, the Angels haven't won anything in a bazillion years. So it's okay for them to win. It's like I'm tired of seeing Houston. I'm tired of seeing the Dodgers and I mean the Braves or whatever. But it's okay to have a new team in there that's fun to watch, like Texas and even Tampa this year. Like don't get me wrong. It's not like it's been a ton of time since they won, but normally they're behind the Yankees or they're behind the Red Sox or whatever. Or a team like Baltimore or Cincinnati right now. It's fun to watch these upstart teams that are playing with these young players. Now, that's not the case with the Angels. The Angels players aren't necessarily young, but they're just fun to watch. But anyways, that's where I'm at today. So let's recap today. So we got, since I put out 3 plays today, I guess we'll just go on with that. I got the Yankees and Texas under 0.5 runs for the first inning, which is a nerfy bet, if you know what that is. I got Texas and the Rangers under 4 runs for the first 5 innings, and I got Texas and the Rangers under 7.5 for the game. So we'll see what happens there. So the one bad thing about lumping 3 bets like this is that if there's one big inning early, you kind of lose everything. But likely is that you'll win 2 out of 3 at least, maybe all 3. You know, If it goes 5 innings and it's under 4, it's likely going to go 9 innings under 7.5. So those bets match. The Nerfy is kind of an outlier. It's kind of its own thing. But I just like the matchup, the pitching matchup. So there we go. That's where I'm at today, guys. You guys have a great day. This is Jacob from Wager Me This.